I worked out for a ton of different teams out of college, and I went undrafted. I figured that if I'm gonna go play basketball, I wanna be able to make as much money as I can, and the best opportunity for that was to go overseas. And then I just started to sprinkle around and playing in different countries all over Europe and Asia and the Middle East. And I just remember my son, he was probably like 2 years old at the time, he just said, "Dad, no airplane." It broke my heart to hear my son say that. And I just woke up that morning and something just told me that it was time for me to stop playing. When we were making enough money to put in our gas tank. We didn't have a space at the time. We were going in and out of high schools, but the foundation of it is all love and passion. We do pretty well in the space that we're in. I'm from Southern California. I grew up in the Inland Empire. I was 7 years old when I first started playing. I was more into football, but my dad was a football guy, and he saw potential in me, and something in my heart told me to choose basketball. I went with basketball. I got offered by a whole bunch of different colleges. After college, I graduated. Like any other kid, you dream to go to the NBA. I worked out for a ton of different teams out of college, and I went undrafted or to go overseas. I was so scared to go overseas, but I figured that if I'm gonna go play basketball, I want to be able to make as much money as I can, and the best opportunity for that was to go overseas. So I went to Turkey my first year, and I absolutely just killed it over there. In my mind, I'm thinking, as soon as I have the season that I knew I was gonna have, I'm gonna fire you. I'm gonna go get somebody that really cares for me. And so I did just that. I was an all-star my rookie year. I was top 5 in the league in scoring. I really had like a really, really good year. Then I signed with a big agency, CAA. Everything just took off for me financially and on the court. Everything. I played NBA Summer League that year with the New Jersey Nets. But I ultimately went on and played in Greece. And for a really big team that I really wanted to play for, who was playing in EuroLeague, Aris Thessaloniki. And then my career just kind of jumped from there. And then I just started to sprinkle around and playing in different countries all over Europe and Asia and the Middle East. And it was an experience.
What was your favorite place out of all those countries? It seems like you were in Greece, you were in Turkey. I mean, I'm assuming that what you mean by Middle East? In Turkey?
No, I actually played in Dubai.
In Dubai?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I've been all
How
over.
was that?
Dubai was awesome, but my favorite place by far is Turkey. That's where my heart is. I got a Turkish tattoo of the Turkish flag on my arm with like representation of all the things that, you know, I loved and experienced in Turkey. It just has a piece of my heart. And I started being there for so long, I started to pick up and understand Turkish. Now, pronouncing the words were a little bit more difficult for me, but I could say like what I needed to say, but I understood a lot. So.
So this might be a weird question, but I know there's always been a feud between the Greeks and the Turks.
Oh, yeah.
So you played for the Greeks for 1 year, and you also have a heart for the Turks.
Yeah.
What was that resistance like coming into it?
It was crazy because my rookie year, I played for a team called Pinar Karşıyaka, which also has a huge fan base. It's crazy over there too. And then when I signed in Greece the next year, I remember getting all these messages, and the Turks were pissed. Like they hated the messages I got. They were not nice, and they were mad that I had left Turkey and went to Greece. But at the end of the day, I was going to do what was best for my career.
Absolutely.
I didn't have anything to do with that.
Now, did the Greeks have anything to say for you playing for the Turks most of the time, or
no, they didn't.
They didn't have that much following.
The kind of player that I was is like, fans fell in love with me because I played with so much passion. I wore my heart on my sleeve. I was the player that would run into the fan section and take my shirt off and jump around with them. So that fans always felt like I was one of them, you know? So like in Europe, it's like you die for your team. So like, it's not like in the States where you like, okay, my favorite team is the Dallas Cowboys. And like you sit there, like these people grow up from age 4 and then they're 46 years old and they've been with the same team, and they're like call them hooligans. Like they're crazy. They're crazy.
So just to finish that conversation on the Turkish part of you living there, what was your favorite thing that really brings to mind, or maybe even like a memory? Your favorite memory that just really, I would say, is implanting in your head when it came to time in Turkey?
They really care. They care about their children. They obviously they want to do well in life, but taking like taking life too serious or not enjoying the moments. I feel like they really, really do that there in Turkey, and they really care and they really love hard when they do love somebody. So it just felt like home for me.
Yeah. Start pull off some fun questions here.
Awesome. Let's do it.
All right. So what's your perspective on the inclusion of transgender athletes in professional sports?
Oh, wow.
And do you see challenges in maintaining fairness while promoting the inclusivity? Like, just what's your opinion overall on that?
I think that's a tough one. For me, I'm accepting of all people. I don't judge. I try not to. Well, I'm a human being, so obviously I try my best not to judge people.
I judge the hell out of people.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously happens, but I try my best not to. When it comes to sports, I think that's a little bit tough though, because physically there are advantages that a man, like say somebody my size, if I decide today to become a transgender and I want to go play sports, I'm physically gonna have an advantage. I just am. You know what I mean? And regardless of what I feel in my heart to what I am, when it comes to sports, physically, I'm gonna have an advantage. And I don't know if that's a fair advantage. You know, like I just in my heart, it's telling me that I don't think that that's fair. I think in sports we do our best to try to level the playing field, and I think that that's kind of an uneven playing field.
Yeah, so absolutely. I mean, I think, and it goes back to anything else, like in terms of at least from my perspective, and I'm the same way. Like I'm a very loving hippie kind of guy when it comes to people, but at the same time, I'm also like, if someone sets a standard, then it's like, okay, well, that's going to be the standard, and you know, we're not going to go by it. So if it's going to be, and you know, and I don't know, it is a hard conversation. Yeah, and I feel like people make it very easy, but I think in my own personal head, I make it very easy myself too. Yeah. But at the same time, it's when you're dealing with people, things get messy. Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on some basketball stuff. I'm going to go a little more on the personal side, if you don't mind me. So I'm going to ask you a couple different personal questions. But how has your faith shaped your journey as an athlete, an entrepreneur, husband, and father? Can you share a defining moment where your faith influenced a critical decision?
I think first and foremost, I don't make any decisions in my life at this point without giving it to God first, and then allowing.
What does that look like?
Put it on my heart where you want me to go with this, and if you don't want me to go down this road, please show me or give me something that shows that you don't want me to go down this road.
And have you seen that like actually filter out?
100%, 100%. And I can give one instance is like when I was 35 years old when I retired, and mentally I would be okay if I were to stop playing at 35 after 13 years. But I don't know if I necessarily wanted to do that. And I just remember my son, he was probably like 2 years old at the time. He just said, "Dad, like no airplane," or just something along that lines, right? Didn't want me to go back onto the airplane and leave. And like, it broke my heart to hear my son say that. But I remember praying that night and I was just like, God, you don't want me to play anymore, then show me the direction that you want me to go in. If it's Pros Vision, lead me that way. If it's something else, lead me that way. And I just woke up that morning and something just told me that it was time for me to stop playing. It was time for me to be a full-time dad. Wow. It was time for me to be a full-time husband, and pour everything that I had into Pros Vision, and then just see where it went.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Maybe start us off a little bit about like, what is Pros Vision? This is the business that we're here for. Yeah. But what is it? You know, what came to be? Just kind of tell us a little bit about it and where it is today.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a group of 4 of us that are all co-owners. We each have different percentages in the company. Yeah. We started out originally as a basketball training company. Okay. Which is a little bit different from what you see in today's world in the space of basketball training. You have basketball trainers. Yeah. We wanted to do something a little bit different where we would have multiple trainers that would all work together, and then take a percentage of all the proceeds, and then that would be our salaries. And So when we decided that we wanted to just solely just do basketball training where we had group trainings and solo trainings. I know we didn't even have solo trainings. We just had only group trainings in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I just remember multiple people thought they literally said, "You guys are stupid."
Yeah.
Even my own wife, like she didn't see how we would be able to eventually like live off of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would try to explain to her and try to get her to see the long-term vision, which is hard to do when we were making enough money to put in our gas tank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like everything that we were making, we were putting back in the gas to drive around. We didn't have a space at the time. We were going in and out of high schools and rec centers and stuff like that. But we knew that if eventually we can grow the clientele, that having 4 people and spacing out the entire day, we can do more than just having one person. And so it took some time. Obviously, it was not easy at all. It was extremely hard.
So, curious question. If you can't share this, that's totally fine. But from what you had started in terms of like putting a little bit of money in your, gas tanks, overall, as a company, are able to share about how much you guys do per year?
I'm not going to share that, but we do pretty well in the space that we're in.
Yeah.
But we're not content with just doing well in the space that we're in. We want to do well when it comes to being in a space of all different kind of businesses and being on that scale. So I think that that's where we've expanded now into, we had the facility that we were in. We partnered with Ethica years ago.
Yeah.
We had a half court there. And we've now expanded out to having a full court and then another half court. So we have more space because we outgrew that space, which led us to now creating an AAU team.
How was your experience as a professional athlete that has helped you build a brand that resonates in the business world? And what advice would you be looking to give others to do the same in that context?
Yeah, I mean, all the values that I've learned in my life from basketball, they're direct correlation to what you do now in business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the teamwork, the hard work, being consistent, going through the ups and downs, and being able to mentally deal with those type of things. I learned all that stuff through basketball. And I think that the reason that we're different in this space is because, we share basketball X's and O's and skill work, but in all reality, we're in a space where mentally it's more important to be stable than it is physically. It just is.
Yeah.
And if we have all the experiences that we went through and can share with the kids to help them to be better mentally, they're going to be better physically.
Yeah.
So I think that that's where the most value that you get from working with us isn't going on the court and teaching you how to do a between the legs crossover and a finish at the rim or a pull-up jump shot or anything like that. It's more so you're going to be able to, you want to talk to somebody that played in the NBA and made it there and went to UCLA, you have him right here.
Yeah.
You want to talk to somebody that played in the ACC, went to Boston College, played professionally for 13 years, you have him right here.
How important is it to go into business with something that you know or something that you enjoy like that?
I mean,
what kind of advantage has it given you?
I think it helps you go into things pure, like without any expectations of what you're trying to get at the end of it.
Yeah.
You're just going in with love. You're going in with passion. And then around that love and passion, now you have to do things that are strategic that can help you grow your business. Yeah. But the foundation of it is all love and passion. And I think it makes it easier for the transition because everybody can feel how pure you are. Yeah. Everybody can feel how much love you have in this. I'm hoping that through speaking through it, you can feel how passionate I am, how much love I have through it. And that's an important thing because nobody wants to just be fooled. Nobody wants to be cheated.
Is there anything you would have changed at all just from when you started the business to now?
I try to live with no regrets because you learn from situations and they help you get better. But I'm sure there's some things along the lines of business that we all wish that we could have did a little bit differently that could have helped propel us a little bit faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if so much didn't want to go through those things, but just a small tweak that could help us get through it a little bit quicker.
Yep. Switch it back a little bit here. I'm going to bring it back to more of the personal, some of the fun stuff, things of that nature. But, you've known your wife since you're in middle school.
Yep.
What I've heard, you've known of each other, if you will. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
She grew up around the corner from me.
All right. Oh, that's cool, man. So how did really the reconnecting with her later in life, how did that affect your career and your personal life?
She slowed me down for sure. She's a lot different than me. I'm like the guy that even being married, like I'm like the guy that wants to go out and have fun and like, she grounded me a little bit when it comes to that. She challenged me to be, a better man and become a leader and things like that I don't know if I was necessarily ready for, but I needed to become.
Yeah.
So she just pushed me to be better. And in terms of my career, she literally changed my life in terms of how I take care of myself. I'm still, trying to get better to this day, but just having the knowledge, I had no idea. So she's taught me so many different things that helped me become a better athlete.
Yeah.
She helped me grow with God. Once all these things kind of lined up, taking care of my body, me growing spiritually, me growing up as a man and becoming more mature, it helped me become a better basketball player. It made me focus more on my craft because I had her daughter now. It seemed like our relationship we got engaged in like 7 months and we've been married now for 10 years.
Yes, so. And this is a lot for the people watching in terms of that nature. Is there what is the one piece of business advice you would give to someone starting out?
The one piece that I would give is to be patient. That's the most important thing. I think is patience is
in what?
Everything. In everything. Patience for growth, patience with the people that you work with.
Yeah.
Patience with yourself and making mistakes and trying to figure out how to pull yourself out of those mistakes is just being patient. 2 years ago to where we are now, things have drastically changed for us. We used to call this thing, we used to have this thing we call the dead period, right? Where the dead period with us from April to August, unbelievable months.
Yeah.
In terms of basketball training and everybody's out of school. But then we had this thing what we call dead period where we have from like end of September, early October until like February, March. We were like, we can't just have months like this where we're making this amount of money. We can't have this. Like we got to figure out ways so that we can be consistent through this so-called dead period.
Yeah.
Now, 2 years later, we don't have dead periods.
Yeah.
So what we did was we went and got picked up by a school to actually do the school training, where now we're getting a monthly amount of money through school period that we would not have, right? So we do that now. The other thing we did, we started AAU. So now we have kids that pay a monthly fee to be a part of our AAU team. Wow. Now kids miss practice, kids miss games. The monthly fee still remains the same.
Yeah.
That's a monthly thing that is gonna come in every single month. So what we did was, our training might be down, but our teams help us be stable. Working at a school helps us become stable. Now we fill in those blanks. So now when everybody comes back to train, now we still have
the baseline.
And now it's everything catapulting. So we don't look at it as dead period and normal anymore. We look at it as being stable and in high period.
Yeah.
So
that's good. So life, love, business. And I think I know what you'll probably say to this for a final reflection, but what's your advice to anyone watching on how to succeed in life, love, and business? And what would you say to your younger self if you had the chance?
The thing that I would say to my younger self is you're more than an athlete. That's the number one thing I would say is I identified myself so much as a basketball player that I didn't think I could do anything else. I didn't want to do anything else. Yeah. But if I can go back, I would 100% tell myself, you're more than a basketball player. You can be much more, and you can use the relationships that you built through basketball to help you be more than a basketball player.
Ooh-wee.
So that's 100% what I would say.
Yeah.
You said the life, love, business.
Yeah. In life, love, and business.
God at the center of it. That's it. You knew that's what I was gonna say. It's as long as God is in the center of your love, your life, and your business.
Yeah.
Everything will be okay. Now, does that say everything's gonna be great at all times? 100% no.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to get through anything with God at the center.
Amen.